So good evening. Do you know what is one of the most super dense, nutritious foods is? Well, or maybe that's not good grammar. But this food that I'm going to tell you is a superfood, and it's possibly the most nutritious.
Well, it just has to be liver. What else could it be
It's
besides
liver.
liver?
It's liver. So, you know,
Wow.
all these years I've been missing out because I sort of hate liver.
That sounds about right.
I can remember when I went back to college when I was in my 40s.
Liver at its worst. you
Yes,
know.
yes. Anyway, I went
Yeah,
back.
I'll see y'all later.
Okay, hon.
Bye.
Goodbye. Anyway, I went back to college in my 40s, and I had to take a writing class, and the very first assignment was to write about something you hated. I wrote about liver, and I made an A. I was gonna go, anyway, I found out I liked to write, so, and I hated liver. And I passed the test. So what I've done here is really, for me, has really been a challenge. How to make liver that I can eat and like. And somehow it's, well, I'll tell you what. When I was a little girl, my grandfather used to invite me down to his little house, and we'd have liverwurst sandwiches. And it was a treat because he was treating me special. It was just me and him.
Your dog thinks it's really nice.
Yes, the dog loves it. Anyway, whenever I've eaten liverwurst, that memory comes back again. So I know I love liverwurst. So this is what I did again today. Only this time I used lamb. We used to raise lamb. I can never remember us doing liverwurst with the lamb. I mean with the liver of the lamb. I can't even remember what we did with it. But so I want to tell you what I did, and it's basically like I did before, except a few changes. And the first time when we raised sheep and we had our first lamb, I never cooked it before, or no, I hadn't. I didn't know much about it. I can remember going to the library, and I wanted to find a Basque cookbook on sheep, on lamb, because the Basque, if anybody can cook lamb, the Basque can. And you know what I found out? They always put a clove, well, they use garlic, but they use cloves. And so whenever I would cook lamb, I would make sure that if it was in a roast, I would have some cloves in there. And also, I would put garlic in there. And lamb, I found out, is wonderful. We used to say, why would anybody eat beef when they could eat lamb? So, but I don't think I ate the liver. So here, what I've done is just, I've poached my liver. Liverwurst usually has pork fat in it. It's usually made out of pork liver. Well, again, I used 2 slices of bacon. I cut up, and I poached it along with the liver. But this time, when I was doing it, I took 2 cloves and stuck it in there. And they're like a dried sort of a blossom or some, but anyway, I put 2 in there. And also I ground it up when I went to grind. Then I sauteed a half of a big onion, and that's probably equals a small onion, and I did it in butter, and when I put the onion in here to grind it up in my food processor with the livers, I also added that butter that I sauteed the onions in. So it's going to be quite rich. And then I want you to tell you on the spices, basically they were the same as the beef with a little bit of difference. Okay, I put about a half to a teaspoon of paprika. I put in a half a teaspoon of pepper. And okay, I'm going to tell you the hard spices first because I ground those up. I put a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I should have put more because I had to add more to it. Okay, I put a half a teaspoon of allspice. I took a half a teaspoon of the dark mustard seeds and I ground those up. Okay, then on the other, I put 2 teaspoons of marjoram, a teaspoon of thyme, and I got about maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, plus the bacon is salty. So that's what I put in. And also, then today they put in powdered milk. And I'm not doing that, but I did put in, maybe a tablespoon of potatoes, the resistant potato starch. And I put that in. And I thought about it, but I didn't, and I may do it yet, of melting some butter and just pouring on the top like a covering. Okay, now I've got some in here. I really have tasted it. I know it's quite mild. I think I even like it better than what I made before, which was like, I think, the beef liver. It's good. I think it's sweeter. Okay, there it is. And you know, I was going to do that this morning, but have you ever had a day that just started out sort of wrong? The day hadn't gone very long until I decided I'd have some almonds. Almonds are extremely rich in calcium, so I was going to have a calcium fix. So I took the container of almonds, put it on my counter, had a few in my hand, ate them, and then decided I'd put them back. Well, I tipped it, and they went all over the floor, in the kitchen, out, down there. I couldn't believe how many. And fortunately, I had swept and mopped my floor, but unfortunately, it wasn't this morning I did it. So I had to sweep them up and pick them out, rinse them off, and then I decided I'd just soak them as long as I had to get them wet anyway. And soaked almonds are even better. It's really the way that we should eat them. So I guess it was a good thing, but I didn't get a video made this morning. But here we are, and I'll get this cold, and it would be good with, on bread, on crackers, all this stuff that I can't eat, but I'll enjoy it. So there you are, and learn how to eat liver. Get a way that you can, because I think liver is one of those things that a lot of us don't like, but learn somehow how you can manage it to do it, because it is the superfood, high in B12, vitamin A, iron, protein, very, very good. So, and there you have it, and we'll see you. Thank you for coming, and this is how I plan to survive my 80s and keep going.